I'ma just say this. I teach 7th grade, they are still performing on the 4th grade level.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, Gen Z kind of fell off. Coming from someone who was born in the days where Gen Z was pretty much the rulers of the internet, everyone and their mama used to complain about Gen Z being the worst generation ever, kids finding out about the best app on the internet to this day, YouTube, watching the certified hood classics from 2013 to 2015. But when it comes to Gen Z, it's not just them, it's also Gen Alpha, where many of the older kids in Gen Alpha don't even know how to read, some don't even know how to spell out the word window, many of them are having more screen time than actual real life basic activities. And don't get me started with the behavior in schools nowadays, because it is absolutely insane that we went from this to this.
One more time.
I mean, the internet culture from a decade ago is so much better than what we have now that I guarantee you, if you had a time machine and went back into the past just 10 years ago, it would have felt so much different that it would have felt like going back to the 60s. But because of the internet culture evolving, and because babies are being born every day, many people are just taking advantage of the internet like it's no day tomorrow. To the point where you have internet gangsters now, parasocial viewers stalking their idols, people are now getting offended by everything, and are now calling you fat phobic just because you told someone to go to the gym for at least 30 minutes a day. But now it's became the norm just not to be the norm. But the best way I could explain is going back during the days of Gen Z ruling the internet. The time when Mountain Dew, MLG Pro, Doritos were pretty much big. The time when Let's Plays and early reactions were starting to appear. When gaming was at its peak with Five Nights at Freddy's. And then we started to form something called fandoms. I remember a time where Five Nights at Freddy's was so big during 2014. Your boy was literally on YouTube 24/7 days of the week. But if you fast forward to 2024, the FNAF community is so toxic that it's unbearable to even look at. I mean, how did we go from a certified hood classic to a new gen atrocity? And seeing how companies and other types of disgraceful people trying to abuse their power and take advantage of other people through the internet is so disgusting and sad. Another thing that internet culture has really ruined for the younger generations is education. I swear education has taken a deep dive into the abyss, to the point where you don't know who's learning, what's their grades, and what the kids do during their time in school and outside of school.
Point fingers and blame who you want, but the reality is these children cannot read on grade level, and we are having to dumb down curriculum to get these kids to where they need to be, and they're not getting there. I promise you, and I'm not the only one saying this. There are thousands, if not millions of teachers across this country who are saying the same damn thing.
Like the amount of times that you could go on the internet right now and see some of the younger generations in school behaving so badly to the point where every time something happens, kids are pulling out their phones instantly just to record it, and it always involves a teacher getting hurt somehow. Like even during my time in elementary school, we never had phones, and the closest thing we had to technology was iPads and computers, but there was always a limit to those things. But as time progressed and everything started to evolve, once I became a Gen Z in high school, things just took a turn. And you could argue it's maturity, everyone's growing up, the times are different, but the amount of times that I've seen so many Gen Z students on their phone in class, like they literally couldn't take a minute just from looking from their phones, literally always pulling it slightly out their pocket, playing on it, while ignoring the lessons in front of them. If that's how it was for older Gen Z kids, especially with the beginning of TikTok starting to finally come out, I can guarantee you Gen Alpha is gonna have some serious struggles and problems way worse than what Gen Z had. The vapes are about to become the new cigarette. Many kids won't know how to count from 1 to 10. They probably won't be able to point out Switzerland from a map. And I can guarantee you their life is going to strictly revolve around the internet. It's getting to a point where the parasocial activity from the internet is at an all-time high. To the point where people strictly go on the internet, see their favorite idol talking about something, seeing how they live their life and act. And now all of a sudden, they want to act and portray themselves like that. Isn't that literally the byproduct of being fake? Whatever happened to being yourself? You're seeing everyone becoming a follower. Hypnotized looking at the screen, seeing what someone else is doing, and they're not even from the same country as you. And don't get me started with the tore down memes from Gen Alpha, because to anyone who's complaining about the Gen Z memes, I can guarantee you the Gen Alpha memes today will make Gen Z memes look so much more better, spanning from Skibbity Toilet, Phantom Tax, Riz, Bluey, Coco Melon, you name it. And you know what's so funny about some of these memes? Some of these memes are literally byproducts from Gen Z. Like the usual Gen Z slang that you always hear people talk about is actually really only started from a couple of people who are influencers on the internet. You don't say. Like Kai Cenat, Duke Dennis, Phantom, Your Rage. All these influencers had an impact to Generation Z, but an impact that slowly started to fall to Gen Alpha. And even though TikTok is supposedly going to get banned, the effects that TikTok has had on the youth cannot be undone. The amount of people who can't control themselves to stop them from using Riz in their daily vocabulary is absolutely insane. At one point, the internet was supposed to be a getaway from everything, but now when you go on the internet, there's always something negative. And because of how the internet culture is, Gen Z and Gen Alpha is cooked. Boy, oh boy, don't be surprised if Gen Beta gets cooked because of Gen Alpha, because majority of these things are not going to go away. Everyone and their mama is on the internet today. With that being said, let me know about your opinion in the comments down below. How you feel about the new generation being something that was once viewed as a positive, now being viewed as a negative and a crisis to the whole world. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. As always, I appreciate anyone watching this video. It's Josh, keeping it real, signing off.